Before measly hits just isn't gonna be enough. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Phillies Sensitive Media. Here happened last night's game between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Atlanta Braves as the Phillies lose 4-1 to the Braves as they drop the second game of this three-game series as they're going to hope to salvage this series at 6-5. They probably won't. Now, guys, before we get into this video, please subscribe if you haven't yet. Please turn engagement bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's get into this. So when we get last night, a home run for Rhys Hoskins off of the left field foul ball. I mean, that ball was absolutely destroyed, and it's hard to believe we actually had a lead in last night's ball game at one time. We only pushed across 4 measly hits, and we continue to squander opportunities to run score position. I had never seen a team, as I talked about yesterday, to struggle to get the job on the run scoring position. I mean, Mickey Moniak, why is he in the lineup? Why is he in the lineup? I'm so tired of the mentality, not just from Rob Thompson, but from, a lot of managers around Major League Baseball, that the righty-lefty matchups. I'm just tired of it. I definitely would feel much more comfortable with Matt Freleng going against a right-hander than I would Mickey Moniak, who's a lefty, going against a right-hander right now. I mean, no question about it. Matt Freleng over the past month has been so much more productive than any other guy who could play center field in this team. So why in the world is he not playing out there every single day? I mean, enough is enough. I put it on my story last night because it just doesn't make sense. And you have Mickey Moniak coming up in these big spots. I mean, with the bases loaded, with, underdogs in the pond, and he continues to squander opportunities. So, I mean, partly how much can you blame him? Because he keeps giving opportunities. Why do you keep giving the guy opportunities, right? I mean, this falls down to Rob Thompson, in my opinion. Why in the world do you keep giving this guy opportunities? It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, Rhys Hoskins had a great night last night, collecting 2 knocks. So he had a really good night last night. Pretty much the only guy that really showed up, it seemed like. But Nick Castellanos continues to stay ice cold. I mean, Kyle Schwarber with a rough performance last night. Ranger Suarez, I'm not really going to blame him too much, right? He kept us in the ball game. Pick up the scoring summary here in the bottom of the third inning. Rhys Hoskins homers on a fly ball to left field. Hits off the top of the foul pole, off that netting. His 14th of the season. Of course, it had to be a solo shot. And the Phillies now take a 1-0 lead. So hopefully Rhys is going to start to get it going a little bit now. It works his average now back up to 250. As I said, pretty much the only guy in the lineup last night that had a good night. I mean, that's it. I mean, that is it. So Mr. Rhys Hoskins absolutely crushed that ball, and it just was a matter, is it going to stay fair? And as I said, it just hits out the foul pole. I mean, it just stayed fair. So 1-0 Philadelphia. Then we pick it up here in the top of the 4th inning. William Contreras singles on a sharp ground ball to right field the other way. Matt Olson comes around to score as the Braves now tie it at 1. So Matt Olson certainly a lot of damage against the Phillies last night. So it seems like, Freddie Freeman, who was the Philly killer, for many, many years, seems like his successor over at first base has really just picked up right where he left off. So it seems like not much has changed as, any Braves first baseman seems to really kill us for some reason. The game is tied at 1. Then we pick it up here in the same inning. Adam Duvall grounds out into a forced out. They were able to get William Contreras out at second, but Adam Duvall was able to beat out the throw to first. The first was umpire called him out originally, but if you go back and take a look at the replay, he was safe. I mean, the ball clearly was not there in time. It was close, but his foot beat it. His foot beat it. Adam Duvall certainly was on the bag before the ball was in Rhys Hoskins' glove. Therefore, he was safe, and that was a good call to overturn it. No other way to say it. He definitely was safe. Marcell Ozuna came around to score on that. Unfortunately, as the Braves now take the lead, now a 2-1 ball game. Fortunately, they just couldn't turn it quick enough. Adam Duvall, not the kind of guy that has some great amount of speed, but the Ranger Suarez did what he needed to do right there. He produced a ground ball, and unfortunately, they just couldn't turn 2. We pick it up here in the top of the 7th inning. Ranger Suarez still on the mound as Adam Duvall homers on a flying ball to left field. Way back there, no doubter. Kyle Schwarber barely moved out there. That was a solo shot. Duvall's 9th of the season, and the Braves now extend the lead now 3-1 ball game. So Adam Duvall, of course, member of the Cincinnati Reds way back at the beginning of his career, had that all-star appearance, when he was in Cincinnati. Then he gets traded over to the Braves, had that really, really rough 2018 campaign. Then he goes over to the Miami Marlins, gets non-tendered, after the 2020 season. Then he gets traded back to the Braves in the midway point of the 2021 season, after leaving the Marlins. And of course now he's, back with the Braves. here as now he extends the Braves lead now to 2. Picking up here in the same inning, Michael Harris to second, singles on a line drive to center field. Old friend Phil Gosselin comes around to score. It's now 4-1 Atlanta. So Michael Harris is second. Another line drive hit right there is, old friend Phil Gosselin, right? We all remember him, 2019 and 2020, right? He's from the Philadelphia area, grew up a Phillies fan. I remember in 2020, at the very beginning of the season, remember he was lighting up in that summer camp, first series of the season against the Miami Marlins in 2020, hitting all these home runs. He was just absolutely dialed in, right? Of course, then he, left free agency at the end of the season, and he goes to the Los Angeles Angels, and of course now he finds himself back with the Atlanta Braves. Of course, he was with the Atlanta Braves prior in the beginning of his career, so now he is back in Atlanta, as that would be your final 4-1 Braves to take the first 2 games of this 3-game series. I mean, we are just not pushing off any runs. I mean, seriously, I understand Kyle Wright's had a really, really good year, and this Braves defense is just so good. And they are just such a good team. It's just a shame. You have to give it to them. I mean, really, Antonopoulos just does such a great job of building that team around. I mean, you lose Freddie Freeman, they just go out and just get Matt Olson. I mean, that is a team that this has constantly had good farm systems. They know how to win. They know how to build a competitive team. They're not some team that's just going to throw a bunch of money, 5 years, $100 million. Nick Castellanos. I mean, they are really, really smart with their money. I mean, seriously. I mean, they know how to draft. Something we don't know how to do, right? I mean, we just don't. We don't know how to scout. We don't know how to draft. It's just one thing leads to another with this organization. There's so many flaws with this organization. So you could take a look at Kyle Schwarber at leadoff spot. A hitless performance last night as he doesn't even collect a walk. Certainly a disappointing night out of Schwarber. Everybody's going to have an off night. It's not the end of the world. Rhys Hoskins, who's your Phillies hot stove media player of the game, Phillies player of the game. 2 knocks last night. The home run to left field to hit off the foul pole. So he certainly hit that ball hard, right? I mean, so Rhys Hoskins, hopefully maybe he's entering a hot streak again. 250 average now, and 809 OPS as it climbs above 800 again. 38 RBIs for Rhys. And Nick Castellanos, it was performance last night. Average down jumps to 245. As I talk about almost every single time, he's not walking. He's not even collecting extra base hits. This is a small sandbox. This is by Borg. He should be raking. I'm starting to wonder maybe there's an injury or something. I mean, there's something maybe wrong with this guy. And, Brian Kenny of MLB Network made a great point. He said, when have you ever seen a player go to Philadelphia and get better? I mean, when? I mean, it very rarely ever happens. Mac Wheeler, one name you could say. They've really significantly regressed since arriving in Philly. And Derek Cole made his major league debut last night at the DH spot. Goes hitless as he slugged 20 home runs down in AAA in Lehigh Valley. So it's nice to see Derek Hall up in the big leagues. What the Phillies' idea is, of course, they're going to be going against the St. Louis Cardinals this weekend for a 3-game series, is they want a powerful left-hander. I mean, because we just haven't got a lot of production, out of a lot of our left-handed hitters, especially like Odubel Herrera's in the midst of a 2-for-33 stretch. I mean, Mickey Moniak, a guy that can't even hit the baseball, 129 average. Of course, now with Harper on the IL, they really wanted, another solid lefty bat to go along with Kyle Schwarber. So unfortunately, Derek Hall didn't do anything last night, but it was certainly impressive. We got to see 2 guys make the major league debut last night. We'll talk about the other one a little bit later. JT Muto, hitless performance last night, but he was able to draw a walk. And I mean, certainly a good night behind home plate, though, for JT. Able to throw out Adam Duvall. First of all, of course, the Braves do challenge that call. And he was safe. I mean, he was safe. But then, Phil Gosselin's up at the plate, and then Duvall breaks for second, a steal attempt, and JT Muto guns him down. So a nice, throw right there from JT Muto behind home plate. Didi Gregorius, 1 knock last night, a line drive, a single up the middle, which is nice to see as he put on the brakes at first. A very smart decision. He would have been out by a mile. Alec Boehm also collecting a knock last night. He's definitely been playing better baseball as of late. No question about it. OPS still sits around 655. Average sits at 263. But over his last 7 games, a 321 average. Over his last 15, a 317 average. So clearly he is certainly starting to see the baseball a little bit more. So I like to see that. I mean, a 429 slugging percentage over the last week. So certainly much better. I think those 3 doubles in San Diego certainly seem to help that. No question. And Bryson Stott, a hitless performance last night, but he was able to draw 2 walks. Mickey Moniak, goes hitless. Strikes out twice when it really, really matters. Right? He heard a lot of boos. I was booing. I was one of those boos. Yeah, bases loaded. I've never seen a team. Our average with the bases loaded with 2 out is below 100. Since it's at 091. We're hitting 091 with the bases loaded with 2 out this season. I mean, that is just seriously terrible. This is a team that just is incapable of getting a big hit in a big spot. They are just really incapable. And this offense is just dying without Bryce Harper. Rob Thompson said in the first game of the series, he was asking me, how much do you miss Bryce Harper? He said, you miss Bryce every single day. And that is just so true. I mean, this team just can't function without that man. He just can't. Rangers Suarez, 6 2/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, all 4 earned, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. A 4.33 ERA, gets smacked with a loss, now 6-5 on the year. Now, he didn't have the greatest start in the world, clearly, but there were times where his stuff looked pretty decent. I will say that, and he kept us in the ball game. So I do not blame this roster on Rangers Suarez. I do not. This is a decent outing out of your 4 or 5 starter. It just is. And shame on the offense for not doing their job. And as I said, I'd probably be into some Rob Thompson. Maybe we would have seen a different outcome if Matt Viering had been in the starting lineup last night. He did a good job, producing ground balls when he wanted to at times. And as I said, 7 strikeouts and 6 2/3. I mean, that's a strikeout on average every inning. So he kept us in the ballgame. So the starting rotation continues to be decent. We continue to rank up the strikeouts. Jose Alvarado, a 3rd inning last night, able to finish out that 7th inning. Of course, he did allow that single to Michael Harris, the second. Of course, that was an unearned run for Alvarado. But I don't even blame this loss on Jose Alvarado either. I mean, this offense, I'm going to go back to it again, it's just not doing their job. So, of course, Jose wasn't the greatest last night. That little short, brief appearance that we got to see him. But, it's much more than just that. And Jerry Familia, a solid top of the 8th inning last night. His bullpen continues to impress. And Mark Appel makes his major league debut in the inning, 1 hit, and he strikes out 1. So he is the oldest first-round pick to make his major debut in Major League Baseball history. Right? He was the first-round pick out of the 2013 draft of the Houston Astros, and of course he gets traded over to the Phillies in December 2015 in the Ken Giles trade. Of course, along with Vince Velasquez, who's of course no longer in the organization, thank God. But how about that? Mark Appel has stepped away from baseball after the 2017 season. Of course, now he's returned. I'm really happy for him. I am just very, very happy for him. So he finally makes his major league debut. I mean, good for him. Called up due to Connor Brogdon being placed on the virus IL. So good to take a look at some of the scores last night. The Houston Astros sweep out the New York Mets. I'm not trying to talk any smack or anything like that, but it's really interesting. I mean, it's really, really interesting. Whenever the New York Mets play a legit opponent, whether that's the San Diego Padres, whether that's the Houston Astros, I mean, they don't do the job. I mean, they split the series with the Dodgers. I mean, they lost 2-3 to the Padres. They got swept by the Astros. I mean, that's very telling. I'm just saying. I am just saying. Of course, the Mets are, definitely better than the Phils are, but I don't really think it takes a genius to realize that this Met team is a tad overrated. Yes, I understand it without Max Scherzer. Yes, I understand it without Jacob deGrom. Yes, yes, and this and that. There's always an excuse for them, of course. Some are valid, but I just don't think they're as good as everybody says they are. I mean, the Braves, I think they're as good as everybody says they are. I mean, actually, I think they're underrated, actually. I definitely think the Braves are certainly an underrated team. They were underrated last year. Of course, they don't get any of the attention that the New York Mets get. So I definitely think the Braves are the team to watch in the NL East. I mean, no question about it. Only 3 games back from the New York Mets. I mean, this is a team that has the longevity. You saw it last year. They have definitely more stamina than the New York Mets do. I definitely believe that the Mets are certainly getting a little bit nervous, because they've had an easy go of the Nationals and the Marlins so frequently, and these really just awful teams. And they were able to catch the Giants and the Cardinals when they were, not really playing the best of baseball. But when they really called a good team like the Padres and the Astros, and even the Dodgers, they were not able to do their job. So it's very, very telling. That's all I'm going to say there. And they've lost 4 out of the last 6. The Braves has won 7 out of the last 3. We have lost 4 of our last 6. We are now only 2 games over 500. I mean, this seems like this always evens out. We're always going to sit around 500. Whether we're of course we saw when we fired Joe Girardi, we were way under 500, and we worked ourselves all the way back up. And if we get 5 or 6 games over 500, we will make sure we will float back down to 500. It's always evened out. It always will even out. We have to make sure we're at 500. I mean, this is a 500 baseball team. It's just pathetic. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Please turn on that notification bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Check out the social media, link in the description section at Phillies Media, Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at BeyondStillMedia. Card text 267-225-5092. Email me PhilliesMedia@gmail.com. So find tonight a throwback Thursday game. Please salvage this series. Alderson 6-4 with a 4.60 ERA going against Aaron 4-5 with a 2.98 ERA. I certainly believe we're going to get a good start out of our starting pitcher tonight. But I mean, I'm just worried about the offense. I'm looking out tech today. Let's go, Phillies. See you guys.